Lines for $1.9 billion. The airline companies announced the deal Sunday and will take up to 18 months to be completed. Headquarters will be located in Seattle with Honolulu a key hub. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Grab your crush and head to Sheraton San Diego Hotel and Marina for a boat picnic of champagne and charcuterie in the heart of the harbor. Love is in the air and on the water when you explore your next getaway at crushingonfall.com. That's crushingonfall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
All of a sudden, the Rams are in the mix for a wild card spot in the NFC playoffs. The Rams beat a very good Cleveland Browns team Sunday at SoFi. They extended their winning streak to 3 and are back at 500 at 6-6. 3 touchdown passes for Matthew Stafford. The Chargers beat New England despite scoring no touchdowns. Big props to the Chargers defense. The Chargers got their first shutout in 6 years. 2 field goals by Cameron Dicker in the second quarter were the only points in the game. The Chargers are 5-7. Congratulations to Florida A&M. They beat Prairie View to win their first SWAC football title. Florida A&M will play Howard on December 16th in the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. The Celebration Bowl is the Black College Football National Championship game. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's the gift-giving season, and we have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
All right, you chipmunks. Ready to sing your song?
I'll say we are. Yeah, let's sing it now.
Okay, Simon?
Okay.
Okay, Theodore?
Okay.
Okay, Alvin? Alvin? Alvin!
Okay! Christmas, Christmas time is here. Time for toys and time for cheer. We've been good, but we can't last. Hurry, Christmas, hurry fast.
It's the Christmas season once again, and I'm delighted to have you hanging out with us during this time of the year. There's a new Christmas project that's out. It's called Urkel Saves Santa, the movie. And we'll play the trailer for you a little bit later. We played it at the top of the show today. We'll play it again for you if you didn't hear it. But it's called Urkel Saves Santa, the movie. And the movie stars as the voice of Jay-Z, one Jay Farrell. Love me some Jay Farrell. As you know, he is a brilliant stand-up comedian, impressionist, and actor. As you also know, he was a cast member on Saturday Night Live for 7 seasons and was ranked the 55th greatest SNL cast member of all time by Rolling Stone magazine. He, of course, mastered, and I do mean mastered, his impression of President Barack Obama. As I said, now he's the voice of Jay-Z in the new animated Christmas project, Urkel Saves Santa, the movie. Miles, you got that clip? You got the trailer for me? Here we go with the trailer from the movie. Okay, Urkel Saves. Well, let him cue it up. Gives me time, though, to say hello to Jay Farrell. Jay, how are you, sir?
I'm good, brother. How about yourself?
Man, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate. No complaints. I'm delighted to be here and delighted to be in dialogue with you. All right, Miles, ready to go. Jay, let me play the trailer for the film Urkel Saves Santa, the movie, with Jay Farrell as the voice of Jay-Z, and then we will spend the rest of the hour in a career conversation with Jay Farrell.
It's me, Steve Urkel. I just want this holiday season to be the best it can be. Oops. I want everything to be perfect for the big guy when he arrives. Now, who wants to head to the mall if they're lighting up the giant Christmas tree? Ow!
what he said.
Maybe there's a way to spread even more holiday cheer. I think I've got it.
You make a good point.
I built something to help spread a little of that holiday cheer.
Woo-woo! Yes.
I'm showing everybody that I got what it takes to spread the holiday spirit without making mistakes.
You've gamified being in the holiday spirit?
Yes! 70 points!
Oh, no, I do not like this idea.
Points.
Oh, no!
You built engine-powered reindeer.
Stop this thing! Take us back to the mall!
Right now!
Did I do that? Hold on, I can fix this.
No! Don't fix anything!
Wanna go fix the holidays?
Yes!
You might be a little awkward,
Goofy?
A bundling, butter-fingered klutz?
I was gonna say eager, but we all know your heart is in the right place.
As long as you care about the people around you, then you're officially helping me spread holiday cheer.
Dashing through the snow on a city bus.
Nope!
Jay Farrell, good to have you on this program, and I was tickled when I saw this coming my way, and it's got some funny stuff in it, and it's always amazing because when you talk about the holiday season, there's so many classic films. And yet people, of course, every year working their way into this space, putting out new product that may, in fact, become a classic. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I think this is a good animated feature, and it acquits itself nicely. You certainly nailed the voice of Jay-Z, sir.
Tavis, let me tell you something, brother. You just made me realize how blessed I am, and let me explain this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even remember that I did the Urkel movie. I was like, oh yeah, I did do that. when you have so much, when you do so much, man, and you forget the projects that you've done just because you're always working. You are blessed, sir. I was like, oh yeah, I did do that. Wait, did I do that? I did that. I did that.
But let me follow you as I will throughout the entire hour. That is my way. I don't lead guests, I follow guests, and if you're doing it right, that's the way it ought to be done. You're not leading, you're following. So I'm going to follow you throughout this whole hour. Let me follow you on that point right there. When you say that you are blessed, and I hear the humor, I hear the comedy in that, but let me just back up for a second and ask you to really opine sincerely on how blessed you have been in your career. And I start with the 6 years on SNL. I'm looking at a bunch of dates here that I'll share with our audience. This program is heard across the country, although I'm flagshipped here in L.A. I'll share with the audience some of your comedy dates because you are obviously always on the move. But you really have been blessed, as we say. You've been blessed beyond measure in your career. How do you read that?
Yes, sir. I read it through, constantly being able to do what I love, make people forget about their problems, but also in certain areas that, I had aspired to pursue earlier, like, animation.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I'm also a consulting producer on Family Guy and a writer on that show from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have characters on that show. Britt Baker, Moses, the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I've done Kanye West. I've done all of these characters up there. And when I was a kid, I was just impersonating Stewie Griffin and all of these guys, and I didn't know that would ever lead to something like that. Not only being able to work with them, Tavis, but to be able to work with the sister company, American Dad,
mm-hmm.
and to work with their, if you want to call them their rivals, but it's really not rivals because they kind of set the precedent for everything, Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the Simpsons as well. So when you think about that, and sir, I'm also JJ in Good Times. That's going to come out on Netflix next year. Hold on 1 second. I just gotta. So when when I look at all of these things, man, I'm just like, it is a blessing. It is a pleasure. And I know I am living in my purpose the way that I'm supposed to.
I want to spend some time when we come forward with our guest, Jay Farrell. Glad I got him for the hour, talking about this notion of being an impressionist. As you know, I'm a very curious person, and I'm always fascinated by the way things work and how people find themselves to a level of artistic expression, and in Jay's case, artistic genius, when they commit themselves to something. And again, I'm always fascinated by things because I wonder if I could do it. Is this something that he's just gifted to do and it came to him, or could I be an impressionist? Could you be an impressionist? And if so, like, how does that happen? Where does that start? How do you perfect that particular gift? Because, again, everybody can't do what Jay does, but I wonder if we were in that space, if we could ever elevate. So I'm just always fascinated by people's particular and peculiar gifts. So we'll talk about what it means to be an impressionist. I'll share with you some dates where you can see Jay across the country in the coming weeks. Again, it's a career conversation with Jay Farrell. So much to talk about, and we'll do it when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
From Lamert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
Escalade IQ. This the intro to the all-electric Cadillac, perfected like Zoom. And on a full charge, you get 450 miles without the stop. Haiku. This is what I do. Daddy fat intellect since 92. Linked all the way back, panoramic roof. Come with 24-inch rim standard. Ooh, why? Shout it, don't kill him. Cadillac diamond in the back, cold chillin'. And when I'm on attack, on the track is no ceiling. Sky's the limit. You hear me? You hear me? Straight drop, no parachutes. Lay lines like a longitude and latitude. Deal it, beloved, clearly we're hustling. Bustin', truckin'. Cadillac, Cadillac, Cadillac.
For more on the Escalade IQ, visit Cadillac.com.
Available late 2024. GM estimate 450-mile range. On a full charge based on development testing and/or analytical projection. Consistent with the CHA 1634 revision 2017 MCT. Range subject to change prior to production. Annual rates may vary based on service factors, including ambience temperature, terrain, battery age, and condition loading, and how you use and maintain your vehicle.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just...
All text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
They are our love bugs and companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life better. When we face unexpected challenges, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people and their pets. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Who do you trust to get at the truth? Tavis Smiley. That's who. The conversation continues right now.
It does indeed. We're just getting started in this hour with, I guess, actor, impressionist, stand-up comic, Jay Farrell, who I'm delighted to have on this program today. Jay, let me go to this impressionist thing. I said a moment ago that I wanted to tackle that first. You mentioned earlier that when you were a kid, you were running around impersonating people. Take me back to your days as a kid and how that came to be your thing.
Well, it started at the age of 6, man. I used to use it to, get girls to like me back in the day. So my first impression that I did was Iago off of Aladdin. But that was like the first celebrity one. Like I was in church, I was just observing and impersonating church members, folks that I probably shouldn't have impersonated because they had problems, and I wasn't even aware of it, brother. I'm like, I'm just impersonating the way her neck moves. I don't know that she has a crippling drug addiction. Nobody told me that, So it starts with observation, and and then it was as far as celebrities, I got Forrest Gump, I did Sally Field, I tried to do Robin Williams as a kid. Well, I did do Robin Williams as a kid. I started doing the Looney Tunes, and then I got into impersonating Bernie Mac and Cat Williams and all of these other folks that I had aspired to be. And before you knew it, dude, I had over 200 impressions. Now I currently sit over 200 impressions, which blows my mind. And it's to the point where people have to remind me that I do people. I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. So, again, when you're living in your purpose and you're aligned, man, you can't go wrong, bro. Real talk.
How does, again, I'm as I said earlier, I confess I'm fascinated by this impressionist thing. How does a black kid impersonate a white woman like Sally Field? Like, how does that work?
Well, first of all, that black kid hadn't gone through puberty yet, so with that,
that helps.
So the testosterone hadn't kicked in all the way, sir. So it was easier for me to pull that off. But it was just all about whatever I saw on television, man. I didn't have a lot of friends, so these characters that I would impersonate, like that became my clique and my posse, and I was good with that. I was cool with that. A sheltered kid. I come from a very heavy apostolic family. We're Christian, we believe, and so me being able to entertain was my way of like breaking away from that. Because we were so restricted. There were so many rules. There was, there was hypocrisy as well that was going on. And now, currently, our reverend, our bishop, our overseer, he got rid of a lot of that. He got rid of all of it, matter of fact. So we're a better church. But I think that was my way of escaping just into the characters. I could get away from reality like that. Yeah. So it just grew, and
As we say right now, this is getting good. This is getting good. I don't know that you know this, Jay Farrell, but I too was raised in an apostolic church.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, I am not. Trust me. We're about to have this conversation right now. Trust and believe. We're going to have this conversation right now. So let me tell you.
Hey, man, I knew I liked you. I knew I liked you for a reason, Tavis. I knew I liked you.
Oh no, not only raised in one, but still attend one, and that is still my faith and always will be. So let me come to that in just 2 seconds here before I get to the apostolic thing. I want to probe. You mentioned a bit of this. You were a sheltered kid. You started by saying I didn't have a lot of friends, and I want that you can't tell a talk show host I didn't have a lot of friends, and not think that's going to be interrogated. So why did you not have a lot of friends, Jay Farrell?
I just after years of breaking it down and just thinking about my upbringing, I think it was just because I was so awkward, man. I was an awkward kid, dude. I was overweight when I got real overweight when I was 6. I went to New York City and I stayed with my aunts for a summer, and I remember before I went up and saw them, I used to take showers and the water was running straight down my back. When I came back from New York, I took a shower and I was wetting up the curtain. I said, why is the curtain getting wet? And I turned around and I saw this gratuitous blessing that the Lord had given me, the butt cheeks of Meg the Stallion. I said, where did this come from? So I was awkward. It was so that played into me.
Not Megan Thee Stallion. Not Megan Thee Stallion.
Bro, the cheeks of Megan the Stallion. I was total Nicki Minaj from the waist down, Tavis. Do you understand the pressure? Do you understand how much attention you attract from folks when you are a little boy?
Yes.
With a grown woman's butt. Do you understand? So I really think that played into my awkwardness, and I was never really comfortable in my skin, man. And I didn't get comfortable with myself until I was 17 years old, and I looked in the mirror and I said, I got to get rid of this, because if I don't get rid of this, I'm going to end up harming myself. I was on that. I was depressed. It was bad. But bro, check this out. Check what I did. My senior year, I was a young senior. I was 17. Now, mind you, 6 to 17, that's when I was overweight. Very awkward, right? When I lost 75 pounds in 4 months. It was 4 months. I lost 75 pounds, and I flipped my GPA from a 2.45 to a 3.06 in a year. Woo. Ended up graduating with honors. I wasn't playing because I honestly feel like I got the type of determination, and I will attribute this to my parents and me seeing how they move. When I put my mind to something, man, and I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. It's going to happen.
But here's the thing.
It doesn't matter if it. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I didn't even cut you off. But here's the thing, though, Jay. It's one thing for you to appropriate, to enact a level of discipline of that ilk as an adult.
Yes.
But to be that disciplined as a kid.
Yes, sir.
That's a rare thing, man. I mean, you flipped your weight, you flipped your GPA. I mean, just take me back to that moment and give me a better understanding of that. Now you really got me thinking here. How were you that disciplined as a black male child?
I was fed up, bro. I was fed up, and of course, I do have I got ADD. I do. It hasn't been diagnosed because my mother's black and she ain't let them put the label on me, but I have it. So it's like I have to sit down and make a concerted effort to do something big. But once I get in there, man, it's like it's just nothing that's gonna stop. I think Will Smith had a great quote. He said, you might be bigger than me. He said, you might even be more skilled, whatever. He said, but if we get on a treadmill, he said, I'm going to stay on that treadmill or I'm going to die. You're going to get off before me or I'm going to die.
So, Jay Farrell, let me just ask you.
It's like,
do you know who Will Smith, do you know who Will Smith, that is a famous quote now. People quote it all around the world. Do you know who Will Smith gave that quote to, who he said that to?
He said that to you.
He did indeed. You can't quote Will to me on my show, Jay, without acknowledging that the quote was said to me, Negro. It was said to me.
I did. I saw it on your show. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, he said it right to you.
Exactly.
That is alignment, brother.
So here's the deal. I remember that. I mean, that conversation with Will has been, and Will and I have talked many times over the years, but that conversation with Big Willie has been downloaded millions and millions and millions of times because we were talking about his favorite book. He was on promoting a film, of course. But in that conversation, it got good, and we started talking about his favorite book was a book called The Alchemist. That's Will's favorite book. I'm serious. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth.
Stop. Tavis, do you know why? Do you know why this is crazy to me? Because that's my favorite book. I was about to say, I didn't even know that. I did not know that piece. But that's crazy. That's insane. We were
talking about his favorite book, The Alchemist, and he was breaking it down, and that's when he made the point, which I won't repeat, because you said it, you quoted him quite beautifully and quite brilliantly. But a lot of people who already knew Will, of course, Will was already had long been famous, but there was something about that conversation with Will that gave people a better understanding of the way he moves, the way he shows up in the world. He talked about the way that he decided to do the movies that he did. I mean, he literally sat down, him and his boy, sat down and looked at the top 10 movies of all time. what do these blockbusters have in common? I mean, all this stuff comes to him from reading The Alchemist about the way he wanted to move in the next phase of his life. So he's breaking down this book, the way he thinks as a result of reading the book, and he makes the point you just made about the treadmill. That comment was made to me one night on my PBS program. It's been seen millions and millions and millions of times, but it got people to understand a bit more about what animates and how Will processes his place in the world. So to hear that The Alchemist is one of your favorite books, tell me why you like The Alchemist. Now you got me curious.
It's the same thing. It's like being able to mold what you talk about, being able to mold it from nothing, make it happen. And no matter who doesn't believe in you, if you put it out there, as long as you're on the track, it's going to happen. It's going to happen because I said it. I will give you an example. Bro, I am from Virginia. I'm from Chesapeake, Virginia, right? There's no sketch actors in Chesapeake, Virginia. There was hardly any stand-ups. We are hardly known for stand-up. Now, of course, now we have some folks who have come out. Of course, Bob Saget was from my area, whatever. You know, you've got, Leonard Oot, shout out to him. He went to Smith. He's younger too. Myself. And there's a bunch of other VA comedians now that are coming up. But it's like, I didn't know how to get on SNL. I didn't know. I didn't know. There was nobody. There was no gateway or whatever. I didn't know what to do. But I said to myself, I'm going to get on that show. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to pray for it. I'm going to will it to happen. And it's going to happen eventually. And it happened quick. I don't know what. I was 22 years old on that show. Before that, I was 19. I went on the road with Charlie Murphy, Eddie Murphy's brother, for 3 years. So it's like I spoke all of that into existence. You don't know how powerful your mouth is. When you're speaking these things, you have to believe it. If you believe it, you can conceive it, and that is so real. I love any book, anybody that runs and lives by that narrative. That's the narrative I try to live by.
We may have to make The Alchemist required reading for black men, because if it works for Jay Farrell and it worked for Will Smith, you might want to read The Alchemist, Will Smith's favorite book, and more importantly for today's conversation, Jay Farrell's favorite book. Let me tell you a funny story here. We'll continue when we come forward. There are these moments in your career you look back on, and they're defining moments, right? You've had many. I've had many of these defining moments in your career. Oprah and I were already friends at the time that I talked to Will. So I knew Oprah, and we'd hung out and done things together. No big deal on that front. But I knew I had made it when a year or two later, and I own my show, I own my content. One of the best things I've ever done is just to own all of my stuff. A couple of years later, Oprah calls me, or her person calls my person essentially, and says Oprah is going to do a conversation with the author of The Alchemist on her program. Her program, Super Soul Sunday? Yeah, Super Soul Sunday, I think is the name of it. She was doing an interview with the author of that book, and her people called and said she wants to use some clips from your conversation with Will talking about The Alchemist. So here's little old me on my PBS program, and Oprah is calling me to ask me for the rights to use my content with Will on her show. And all I will tell you is this, that when I saw that check for the rights, because the way this works, the audience may not know this, Jay, you understand this. The way this works in licensing is you set a fee for every second of your content that people want to use when you license your content. There's a fee literally for every second. And when they decide the stuff they want to use, you total up that price by the number of seconds they want to use, and that's the check they have to cut you. Oprah, being Oprah, wasn't exactly sure what she wanted to use, so she just bought the whole thing. I'll leave it at that. Wow. So I must tell you, it is one of the biggest checks I have ever received for somebody who wanted essentially a clip, but they bought the whole thing. I digress on that. When we come forward, so much more to talk about with Jay Farrell. Trust me, we're going to get to Saturday Night Live in this career conversation. I ain't got to the Apostolic Church. We definitely going to talk about that. I haven't given you dates for where he's going to be. So much more ahead with Jay Farrell on Tavis Smiley.
Unapologetically progressive. Unapologetically black. You're tapped into Tavis Smiley.
What's up, party people? It's your favorite MC's favorite rapper, MC Light here. And we're celebrating 50 years of hip-hop, authentically powered by Cadillac. And we're going to take it way back to where it started. It was only fitting that hip-hop began with teenagers at a back-to-school jam in the rec room of a South Bronx apartment complex by an 18-year-old brother. By the way, I'm also sure he had a Cadillac parked outside. He noticed the energy on the dance floor when he switched between two turntables, extending the beats, repeating the breaks, and never losing the rhythms. And that was the birth of hip-hop. And from that moment, it took off.
For more on how Cadillac is celebrating hip-hop's 50th, visit Cadillac.com/audacity.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The war between Israel and Hamas is now in its 59th day. The Israeli military said it's expanding its ground assault to all of the Gaza Strip. Some residents in the region said there's nowhere safe to go as the fighting starts to spread to the southern part of that region. An Arizona inmate is being charged with attempted murder in the prison stabbing of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Chauvin, who was convicted of murdering African-American George Floyd, suffered serious injuries when he was stabbed 22 times last week at a prison in Tucson, Arizona. Court documents show John Tursak told FBI agents he attacked Chauvin as a symbolic connection to the Black Lives Matter movement and the Black Hand symbol of the Mexican Mafia. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Grab your crush and head to Sheraton San Diego Hotel and Marina for a boat picnic of champagne and charcuterie in the heart of the harbor. Love is in the air and on the water when you explore your next getaway at CrushingOnFall.com. That's CrushingOnFall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
All of a sudden, the Rams are in the mix for a wild card spot in the NFC playoffs. The Rams beat a very good Cleveland Browns team Sunday at SoFi. They extended their winning streak to 3 and are back at 500 at 6-6. 3 touchdown passes for Matthew Stafford. The Chargers beat New England despite scoring no touchdowns. Big props to the Chargers defense. The Chargers got their first shutout in 6 years. 2 field goals by Cameron Dicker in the second quarter were the only points in the game. The Chargers are 5-7. Congratulations to Florida A&M. They beat Prairie View to win their first SWAC football title. Florida A&M will play Howard on December 16th in the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. The Celebration Bowl is the Black College Football National Championship game. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
The holidays are back, and you know what else is back? Wendy's Peppermint Frosty. So take some time for yourself with this cold and creamy treat this year. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Peppermint Frosty. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Vanilla Frosty is temporarily unavailable.
Ask any former youth in foster care what they missed most while growing up, and they will most likely answer, someone to show me unconditional love. Now, isn't that something we all wished we could experience? Here in Los Angeles, up to 40% of homeless youth on our streets identify as LGBTQ+. The most prevalent reason for homelessness among this population is the rejection they've experienced from their own families. The LA County Department of Children and Family Services and Raise a Child are searching for safe, nurturing, and affirming foster parents within our community willing to stand up and serve all children and youth in foster care, especially LGBTQ youth. Learn the many benefits to becoming a foster parent. Attend a free Raise a Child virtual or in-person informational event to learn more. RSVP now at raiseachild.org. That's raiseachild.org. And thank you.
I'm Scarlett Johansson. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. You can join the movement to end hunger by donating, volunteering, and advocating. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Smart talk for curious people just like you. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Jay Farrell, who I am delighted to be in conversation with, stand-up comedian, actor, impressionist, former member of the cast of SNL, and now the voice of Jay-Z in the movie Urkel Saves Santa, the movie, the film he forgot that he had done, but it's out nonetheless. And Jay Farrell is in it again as the voice of Jay-Z. I'm watching my time, Jay. It's getting away from me, man. But so let me just go straight to the Apostolic Church. And let me just say this, and I won't have a real conversation with you. You did not know this, but I grew up in the Apostolic Church, and I think my audience knows that. Never been shy about that. I believe, for me at least, I can't speak for Jay Farrell or anybody else, but for me, I call it the 3 Fs. The 3 Fs, and these are the 3 most important things in my life. And they are in this order: my faith, my family, and my friends. Those are my 3 Fs. My faith, my family, and my friends, the most important things to me in the world, those 3 Fs in that particular order. I say that because I cannot imagine my life without my abiding faith. I just can't imagine how I would be here. The song says, if it had not been for the Lord on my side, where would I be? And that's my testimony, right? So my faith means everything to me. And yet, if I can just keep it real, and I want to be careful, my mama's listening, I'm sure, back in Indiana. But at the end of the day, if you grow up in the wrong apostolic church, it can be, let's keep it real, it can be a dream killer. If you're in the wrong apostolic church, those rules, those regulations, the narrow frame, the lens through which they see the world can be a dream killer. So I ask, all that said, how you navigated growing up in the apostolic church.
Well, I would say this. The worst of what we were dealing with was with the overseer before our current bishop now. So he took a while to try to get isms out of people's heads. Like, listen, if it's not in the Bible, if it's not in the Bible, then it doesn't count. We're only following what's happening in the Bible. So, like, follow that. Listen to the word of God, and don't go by this black book that has been created with all of these sets of rules about cotton stockings, about dresses having to be a certain length or whatever. It's like, no. Everything is supposed to be done in moderation. That's what it is. And that's in every aspect of our lives, because God is supposed to be the central nucleus of it. But when they make you feel like the overseer is that power that you should, you skipping work. It's like y'all spending 3 days in service. Butts are stinking. Booties are funky. You know what I'm saying? It's like when when you're focusing on this book and not focusing on the words of God, then it's not going to work. You're not going to have that alignment in your life. So my family was really good about seeing through the BS in the church. You know, of course there were things that did happen to our family and a couple of other families because of some of the corrupt people that were in the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
However, we didn't allow that to break. We didn't allow that to break our spirit, and we didn't allow that to push us away from God. If anything, it brought us closer. And when all of the legal stuff went through, there's been people trying to sue our church. Everything has happened, Tavis.
Mm-hmm.
But at this current time, I would say we are the best that we have ever been. And since we did have a bishop who had an open mind, you know, there was no condemnation for wanting to do what you wanted to do, talent-wise. He was just saying, hey, if you're going to do something, make sure you keep God in it. You can do whatever you want to in this secular kingdom that doesn't belong to God, because this is not God's realm. This is the devil's realm, you know? No. And subliminally, it's so crazy to me how sin is now. Sin is so subliminal. People always are thinking that the devil is going to be straight up in your face. Well, he is going to be right in your face, but he's going to be disguised as something where you don't even realize that you're getting taken away from the kingdom.
Oh, you preaching now. You preaching the right Reverend Dr. J. Farrell. Yeah.
Listen, look, bro. I have gotten over addiction. I have gotten over. There's so many things this year, I would say, that I have come to just from a boost of belief and me really understanding and studying the Bible, man. But I talked to my bishop. We you know, I send him messages. I'll find something. I'll send it to him. What you think about this? But having that open line with him, I think it was easier to navigate all of the treachery in the church that was happening. And like I said, it's a loving community now, and we're good, and it's all about Christ.
Yeah, when I mentioned how that experience for many can be a dream killer, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to tell you how many sleepless nights I had, and how depressed I was as a kid at times, because I was told that the lawyer that I wanted to be, I couldn't be, because if I became a lawyer, I was going to hell. I was going to hell for being a lawyer. And I asked, why would I go to hell for being a lawyer? And the answer was because lawyers lie, and all liars will find their place in the lake. And I responded as a kid, because I'm a lawyer, do I have to lie? I mean, do I have to lie just because I'm a lawyer? I mean, can I tell the truth? Can I be committed to unarmed truth and justice and love? Why is it that just because I'm a lawyer I have to lie? So you're telling me I can't be a lawyer because I'm going to hell?
Yeah,
it's a dream. It's a dream killer, man. It's a dream killer for some people. So, and yet,
and you said something that. You said something that really stuck out to me, though. You were talking about the narrow-mindedness of the church, the narrow-mindedness that they did have. Oh, we're going to be the only ones that are saved in the kingdom. That is not true. There's so many ubiquitously, Christ is around. There are people out there who have submitted their lives to him. And as long as you know that Jesus Christ is the only way to the Father, then you are good. As long as you're living and you got that inside of you. But they had a narrow spectrum. It was so narrow. You can't do this. I feel like the generation before me, I feel like they suffered way more. They suffered way more. I'm 36, you know. You know, a lot of the kids and even the older saints would come up to me when we would do talent shows, because that's where I did comedy, man. I was doing stand up in church, and you know, it was anointed comedy, of course, and it was geared towards what we were going through. But there was the number of folks that came up to me afterwards and were like, "Man, I wish the church was now." I wish back then
what it
was
is now.
How it was. Yes. Because I didn't get a chance to do this. They told me I couldn't go to war. I couldn't be a doctor. I couldn't do all of these things. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's not true. It's not true. As long as you keep Christ in it, you are fine.
Well, you mentioned earlier that the generation before you had it worse than you. Well, I'm the generation ahead of you. You're 36. I'm 20. I got you about 20 years, and I'm that generation before you. They got it much worse, and so I'm glad to hear that you are as well adjusted as you are, having gone through that experience, and that you still profess an abiding faith, because that's what it's all about. I never know if these conversations are going to go. I did not know that particular part of Jay Farrell's backstory. He didn't know that part of my backstory. It's why I love doing this program every day. I always leave smarter when I walk out than when I came in, and I'm always enlightened, encouraged, and empowered by the story, by the journey of others. When we come forward, I want to talk about his journey as a writer. We'll talk about SNL. I'll give you some dates for his stand-up tour. You're listening to Jay Farrell right now, and I'm glad about it on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Day one, the hardest day, the day you hear,
this is a type of blood cancer.
But day one is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day one.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
To learn more and get help on day 2, day 28, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
Let's get back to more of Tavis Smiley right now.
Jay Farrell, I know you've been asked this question many times, but not by me. When you look back at this point in your life, when you look back at your SNL days, you think what?
I think wow, what a ride, and how young I was, and I think maybe if I would have been a sketch performer earlier, maybe it would have been even better. But I appreciate the time, and I appreciate all of the relationships I cultivated from there. So my SNL time was, as they say, the kids say today, lit. It was lit. It was super lit.
And to be so honored, I mentioned earlier that Rolling Stone put you on that list of the best cast members over the. I mean, you think about all the years that SNL has been around, and for you to make that list of the best cast members they've ever had, as noted by or denoted by Rolling Stone, that's high cotton, as they say down south. That's high cotton, Jay Farrell.
Hey, man, that's high cotton, or is it with Nicolas Cage? That's high praise.
Yes.
High praise, man. That's what it is. But it's I'm gonna tell you about that Rolling Stone list, man. I was like, what is it? The description that they gave for me, like he's the 2 Chainz of the Jimmy Fallon of 2 Chainz impression. I didn't even know what that meant. Tavis, in my mind, maybe it's not true, but there's always somebody who's in journalism or whatever that's a Jay Farrell hater. That's what I get. Like I'm like, that's some hating stuff right there. All of the fun I had on that show, and that's what you had to say. Yeah. But to be on the list, man, to actually be a part of that institution, that's what a blessing is, bro. You know,
finish up. And what? And go ahead.
I was about to say, and to bring some awareness to that show and get some ladies on that show, get some black ladies on that show, get some sisters up there. You know, I mean, it's what the show needed. So I'm happy. I'm happy about my time there. I just can't wait for the next chapter of that. Yeah. So people be like, "Oh man, that was cool. SNL was cool, but when he did this, I can't wait for people to say that."
Oh, it's coming, man. It's coming. It's coming. Since we talking about the Black Book, we are instructed, as you know, to call things that are not as though they were. Call that thing that ain't yet as though it already is, and we call that manifesting, and it will happen. Our remaining moments with Jay Farrell when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Boom, 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 boom. Nissan has a car for every driver who wants more. More action. More fun. More guts. More head turns. More adventure. More electric. At Nissan, more is all we do.
He's rooting for everybody black. Everybody black. More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now.
Jay Farrell, before I wrap this conversation in about 4.5 minutes, offering the audience some dates where they can see you. Tell me about your journey as a writer. I mean, we know you as a stand-up, of course. We know you as an impressionist. We know you are a writer. But tell me about your journey as a writer.
Well, I would say the genesis, and I didn't even realize it, was me having a conversation with one of my good friends. His name is Freeze Love. He used to go on the road with Charlie Murphy for years, and he's the one that that introduced me and was the reason why I was on the road with him. But I remember I was doing my act, and then I think somebody had asked me to write something, and I was like, man, I do stand-up, but I don't know about writing. He says, hey, man, he said, don't you write your jokes down? I said, yeah. He said, then you're a writer. He said, you know what you're doing. He said, just get in there, trust yourself, and just write. He said, Jay, even the things that you're just freestyling, when you freestyle, that's writing. It's coming from your head. It's free form. And cut to me being in the booth, just recording a Kanye West voice for Family Guy, and them saying to me, do you want a writing job? I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? Like, they say, do you want a writing job? I said, are you serious? They said, yes. They said, look, we would love to have you on the squad. And obviously you got creative ideas. Like, we would love to add that to the show. And I said, man. And I just saw Freeze Love's face in my head saying, see, I told you, homie. Like, he wasn't even there, but it was like he was right there.
You're a writer. You're a writer.
You're a writer. You are a writer. And now now I'm in the rooms. But on SNL, I remember being in the when you're in SNL, you have to write. Sure, you know, you have to write. I would write 3 sketches a week. Now, they would get pulled, but, you know.
But you wrote them.
I would still write them. I wrote them. So all of that is important, man. You could have diamonds. You could have a whole bunch of diamonds, but maybe there's a whole bunch of, there's diamonds, there's rubies, there's emeralds, there's all of this. So maybe your diamonds aren't being seen. It doesn't mean that they're not diamonds. Yeah. It just means that they're not being paid attention to wherever you're at. Yeah. So what do? Diamonds are precious. You keep those and you go to a place that has sand. It's just sand there. And you drop that diamond on the sand and you say, somebody's like, oh, damn, look at this diamond sitting here. And then that becomes something else. Yeah. So it's just all about where you put your energy, but never give up on your gems. Never give up on them. Just keep them, cultivate them, maybe revisit them later, brush them up. And I'm telling you, somebody will appreciate it.
I can't do no better than that. Yeah. That's how you close the show. That was a mic drop, by the way. That was a mic drop moment from Jay Farrell. He's a busy guy. He is the voice of Jay-Z in the new Christmas movie, the animated Christmas film, Urkel Saves Santa, the movie. He's been busy. I mean, Showtime, White Famous, Steven Soderbergh's film, Unsane. The comedy, hashtag 2 Minutes of Fame, and the dates I'm going to give you right now. You ain't got to remember all this. You can go to jfarrellworld.com, jfarrellworld.com for all of his dates, but I will tease you with this. He's on the way to North Carolina and Wisconsin and Texas and Boston and Connecticut and Nashville, Tennessee, back to Charlotte, North Carolina, Washington, D.C., Houston, Texas, Ohio, California, Orlando, all of those places will be blessed with the presence of Jay Farrell in the coming weeks. Once again, it's jfarrellworld.com for all of his dates. In these last 30 seconds, Jay, let me tell you, man, I knew this was going to be a great conversation, so much better than I even thought it was going to be. I learned things about you and about your story and about your life and your work and your witness. I've enjoyed this immensely. You are welcome back on this program, sir, anytime, and I thank you. Man,
me too, brother. And listen, man, I would love to connect with you, bro, because you feel similar. We have similar vibes, and I like that, brother. And you've been in the game, and I appreciate the groundwork that you have laid and the people that you have exposed the world to, and while you're exposing how great you are yourself, my man. And I love you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Love you back, man. And ain't nothing you can do about it. Thank you for your time, Jay Farrell. Have a great rest of the day, my friend. Hour 3 of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.